What's up everybody, my name's Adam, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the 5 pieces of camera equipment I would bring with me to a desert island. Before we get into this video, you may notice something's a little different. My hair's going the other way today. That's just the way I want it to go. I was like, okay, we can do that. But in all seriousness, this is a new series I'm trying out, and I know there's a lot of top 5, top 10 videos on YouTube already, but this is sort of a different concept. This isn't really top 5. This is really stripping it back to bare essentials, because I could say top 5 DSLRs of 2018, but that's not what I'm doing. This is, if I could only have 5 pieces of camera gear, what I would have in order to just make everything I could ever want to make. This episode is going to be on camera gear, but if you're a fan of this series, let me know in the comments below, share your love, hit that like button. I don't tell you to do that a lot, but I guess it really matters, so please hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz. Enough talk, let's get into it, and I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to start off with the charger. Right, so there's 5 things, and I'm starting off with this guy right here. Now, those of you guys who know me, I've shot Sony my entire life. I started on the little Sony Handycams, and I've moved on. This is on an A7S II. It all started for me with the battery, because I thought about it and I was like, well, if I was only going out and buying 5 things for making videos, just for the type of videos I make, I knew that I was going to want a regular camera and then an action camera. So I picked a Sony camera and then I picked an action camera, and they shared the same batteries. You might even know what they are already, but they share these batteries. And for any of you guys who know, first of all, they look like this. For any of you guys who know, who are filmmakers yourselves, most cameras these days have USB built-in charging, so you can plug a micro USB into one side and then you can charge your camera off of a USB port, but that takes a long time. So this allows you to have one battery in the charger while another one is in the camera rolling, so that when the one in the camera dies, this one's fully charged. Very important for me, at least, to have a dedicated charger. Now, if you're really good and you know Sony, and you know these batteries, you might know the camera that I'm going with. Let's start with the action camera, because there's only one line of Sony action cameras, and I think they all take the exact same battery. But the one I went with is this guy, and you guys know I'm Team Sony all the way. Like, I've dabbled with GoPro and other brands in the past. This is the FDR X3000, and it is, in my personal opinion, the best of the best. So there's a couple of main reasons why I'm really into this camera. First of all, it does take the batteries that my other ones do. So it takes the exact same batteries, which is super great. It can shoot up to 4K at very high frame rates. It's not waterproof without a case like the current GoPros are, but that is a big trade-off for me for what it does have, which is Sony's optical steady shot. So every other action camera uses digital stabilization in software, crops the image on the sensor. The sensor is on like a 3-axis gimbal, and this just creates the most buttery cinematic action shots ever. You want to get the best looking shots from an action camera. No action camera provides better footage than this guy. Some are more convenient, you could argue, but if you just want pure quality, this is the top of the line. It's also worth noting that if you were looking at this video in hopes of purchasing some of the things I'm recommending to you, I only recommend this camera out of Sony's action camera lineup. They have some other ones and even some other 4K ones, but the fisheye is really weird because they're quite old models now. I would recommend GoPro over Sony's lower end stuff, but if you want the best of the best, the FDR X3000 is the best in my opinion. So yeah, this charger will charge batteries for this camera, and then while they're charging, my other camera, my main camera I'm gonna use, uses the same batteries as well. Can you guess what it is? Fun fact, you can get this camera as low as about 700 bucks, and it's the Sony RX100. This is the best point and shoot in the world. One thing I must note though, you treat this thing like a baby. You put a glass screen protector on it, you be very careful with it, because these things are built like a house of glass. I've gone through about 4 of them, and I don't break stuff, but I've gone through 4 of these guys. Now this is the Mark V. There's little differences between the Mark III, 4, and 5. I wouldn't go anything lower than the Mark II, but if you get like a Mark III today, it's pretty cheap. So an RX100 Mark III, or as high as you're willing to go, is definitely my recommendation. Like I said, they are taking these Sony batteries, which I didn't mention. It's the X series batteries. But yeah, it takes those. It does have the flip up screen for vlogging. It's also got Sony's steady shot technology in there. It's got a flash, an electronic viewfinder. I've added some double-sided sticky tape over the mic holes so I can peel it off and put on a windscreen. And that is the big downfall of this. I was thinking about going DSLR land with the 6500, because if I could only pick one DSLR camera to have ever, the most versatile for me, it'd be my 6500, but then I would consider an extra lens as one of the 5 items I'd bring with me. And if I'm only limited to one camera for my main shooting, I don't want it to be a DSLR, because I always want to do lens swaps when I'm shooting on DSLR. So this point and shoot can do everything all in one better than I think some other cameras can. Another benefit about going with these 2 Sony camera setups is, I know I mentioned that they both take the same batteries, but they each come with their own batteries, so you don't actually have to go out and buy extra batteries. If you buy each of these and they each come with their own battery, whichever camera you're shooting with, you'll have one battery in and the other one that came with the other camera in the charger, and then you can swap them out seamlessly. So if you strip back everything, because I've worked on my camera gear for a very long time, you know, I didn't start out with all this awesome equipment. I started out with one handy cam and a $20 tripod. So if you stripped it back today, I had nothing and I wanted to get serious into YouTube and I wanted to go out and purchase some stuff. I knew I wanted to shoot some action, some personal vlog content, or anything else for that matter. This is a very financially smart thing to do. Makes a lot of sense financially, because you don't have to go out and buy extra batteries for 2 different ecosystems. You're in one ecosystem. All right, now on to the 4th item on our list. I'll put a link up in the cards to the video where I demoed this off. You should definitely check out that awesome vlog. But it is the Siri, however you want to say that, the Siri, whatever it's called. I'm gonna put a link to it in the description, but basically it's this company. Sounds kind of like a made in China product, and it very well could be, but it is entirely metal and rubber. It's really, really high quality stuff. I'm hard pressed to find any plastic on here. I titled it the GorillaPod Killer because I really think it is. Basically, a little rundown for you. It's got this plate at the top. You screw in the base plate onto your camera, put it on, and then when you twist this, it just pinches and grips the camera. It's a ball head tripod, which are super versatile. I wouldn't recommend them for very large rigs, but for small cameras, ball heads are great because you can loosen this knob and then move this all around and get whatever angle you desire. It works really great as a selfie stick, but if you're trying to put it down, how are you gonna do that? You fold down these legs, and then you fold them all the way down and twist on this metal bracket. And when you twist it, you can see it pretty much, see that little notch cutout? When you twist, the notch goes over, and then the legs of the tripod can't go past there. So then it deploys like that. You can set it down, twist the middle of the core, and it's telescoping. So there's so many different angles you can get with this guy. It's really, really, really fantastic. And if I had to have one tripod just forever to shoot every angle I can try and get out of one tripod that doesn't cost a whole ton of money and is super versatile. I can use it as a selfie stick for vlogging. I can use it as a regular tripod for a desktop setup. This is my one tripod I choose. I've got some very, very good tripods, and this guy is the one I choose. So keep that in mind. If you have camera gear already and you're just looking for a little fun thing to add to your collection, I'd go for this. Now we're on to the 5th and final item, and this one took me a really long time to think of because I had 2 cameras in this list of 5 things. Probably didn't expect that, but yeah, regular camera, action camera, battery charger, and a tripod. You don't need that much else. It's also worth noting that I was thinking about adding a computer for like editing as one of the items, but I felt like that didn't really count. I don't care what you hand me, as long as it's got editing software, I'll make it work. So then I looped back to what I had picked and thought, what can best accent and help me as a filmmaker make better content? So I thought about this, and because I didn't go with the DSLR route, I thought the only way this might fall short on me is with the onboard audio. So I decided to go with a field recorder. But if you think about it, if I went with a DSLR route, camera body, lens, microphone, that's 3 things. Maybe add a tripod in there and then a charger. So my 5 things would just be one camera rig. But these 5 things, I have, you know, I've already told you 1,000 times. I think I've picked a really good list, but yeah, the final one is a field recorder. Specifically, this one is the Zoom H5. I really like it because if you want to just use it to run audio inline like this, you can actually take off the mic module on top and then compact it down. Set your levels with this little dial. It also has auto leveling, so it'll automatically raise and lower the levels to what it needs to be. And for me, when I do something like motovlogging or snowboarding or anything like that, and I have a lapel mic or a lavalier mic clipped to my jacket or inside my helmet, I run that into this and then put this in my backpack or my coat, because with a big ski coat on an inside zipper, it's a little bit thick, but it's really no bigger than a cell phone. But as a lot of people know, maybe you don't know this, movies are considered audio-visual presentations. Audio-visual, audio comes first. That means audio is more important than the visual at the end of the day. If you think about it, you watch a YouTube video with great visuals, but the audio is like terrible, you're gonna click off. But if a video has very, very good audio, it's typically a sign of a well put together video. So that's why I went with this. I thought if it's a windy day or I just can't quite get what I want to get out of this, like let's say for example, we swap this camera with this, put it on the tripod, and I'm trying to get the shots, rather than just these little microphones picking up what I'm saying, I could then position this somewhere in the room and this would record a lot better audio. So those are my 5 things. To recap, we have the regular point and shoot for 90% of my filming. We have the action cam because I need to shoot some action stuff once in a while. A battery charger to charge batteries for both cameras, world's greatest tripod, and a field recorder. Also, I just want to note that everything in this list was specifically picked out by me, except for the field recorder. If you don't need all the features that this particular one packs, I would recommend going from this series, the H5, down one to the H4. They have the H4n and the H4n Pro, both by Zoom. I think bang for buck, those are the best field recorders in the business. So that's my list. Desert Island, you stripped away all the camera gear I have and I needed 5 things to do what I do here on YouTube. That's what it would be. I fully believe with the 4K capabilities of this and some good color grading, you can shoot cinematic, awesome looking shots on this, no doubt about it. Let me know what you guys thought about this series. Do you like it? I think it's a lot more fun than a top 5, because if you saw yesterday's video, I was talking entrepreneurship and I mentioned that today I was going to be putting up a camera gear video, and originally I was just gonna do like camera gear I'm gonna use in 2018, or like, you know, my favorite pieces of gear. These aren't necessarily my favorite pieces of gear, but that's not what this series is about. This series is about, if you took away all my gear, what I would absolutely not be able to live without, and I think I accomplished that here today. So let me know, what is your list? If you could only have 5 pieces of video equipment, what are they? And I'm a tech geek, so be specific. Don't just say a camera, a lens. Let me know, what's your gear? What are you into? Are you in the Nikon ecosystem, the Canon, Sony like me, whatever. Maybe you want to shoot on a phone. Maybe you're like, I want a phone, I want a portable battery bank, maybe a gimbal. That could be cool, phone with a gimbal. Maybe that's how you want to shoot. There's a lot of different ways, so let me know what you would do in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe here. You'll never know what you're gonna find, but I'm trying to post very consistently in the future. YouTube is my full-time job, so any way you can support this video would be super, super appreciated. And with all that said, it's time for me to sign off. I will see you guys again very shortly. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, this was Adam, signing off.